In the last video, I showed why I'd start with worms first if I had one backyard and wanted to build income from scratch. This video is the full backyard income menu, 7 animal setups, what each one can sell, what they cost, what mistakes wipe out profit, and which one fits your space best. Some can start for around $30 to $75. Others take more planning, more equipment, and more skill. But every setup on this list has a real product people already buy, a startup cost you can measure, and a path to monthly income if you build it correctly. The exact number depends on your market, your setup, and how well you sell the product. But the systems themselves are real. This isn't about buying random animals and hoping they pay for themselves. It's about building small backyard income systems that can be measured, improved, and stacked over time. Stay with this to the end because by the final section you'll understand which setup is cheapest to start, which one scales fastest, which one creates the most income streams, and how all 7 connect, so waste from one becomes profit for another. Setup number 1 is worm farming. I know, this isn't the animal most people expected to see first. That's exactly why it belongs here. Worm farming has the lowest startup cost on this list, the smallest space requirement, and one of the fastest paths to a sellable backyard product. Most people ignore it because it doesn't feel exciting at first. But once the numbers are clear, it starts looking less like compost and more like one of the cheapest small businesses you can build at home. A worm bin starts with a plastic tote, shredded paper bedding, food scraps, and a pound of red wigglers. Total startup costs can land around $30 to $75, depending on the bin, bedding, and starter worms you choose. That's less than a single bag of livestock feed in many areas, and it can run in a garage, shed, basement, closet, or shaded corner of the backyard. The business works because worms turn material most households are already throwing away into products. Gardeners are already buying. The first product is worm castings. This is one of the most valuable natural soil amendments a backyard grower can produce. Castings sell for $1 to $3 per pound in bulk, or $25 to $50 for a 25-pound bag at retail. Organic gardeners, small farms, cannabis growers, and container gardeners all want it because it improves soil structure, water retention, and plant performance. Demand consistently outpaces supply in many local markets. The second product is live worms. Red wigglers sell for $20 to $40 per pound. Night crawlers tap into the fishing bait market, and the recreational fishing industry in the United States is worth tens of billions of dollars. That gives you potential buyers in gardeners, composters, fishermen, schools, homesteaders, and other worm farmers. The third product is worm tea, a liquid fertilizer brewed from castings. It's easy to produce in batches and sells as a premium plant supplement when handled and marketed properly. Here's the part that makes this setup powerful. Worms reproduce. Under good conditions, a population can double roughly every 60 to 90 days. 1 pound becomes 2, 2 becomes 4. Your inventory grows while it works. A small starter system can generate $60 to $200 per month once it's established. A 10,000 worm operation can push $300 to $800 per month. Larger operations with serious volume, soil blends, and retail packaging can reach several $1,000s per month. And the biggest money isn't always in raw castings. Stronger operators often blend castings with compost, peat moss, cocoa coir, perlite, or minerals to create premium potting mixes. That moves the business from selling a single ingredient to selling a finished gardening product. One worm farm in Arizona reportedly does over $1 million in annual revenue. And most of that comes from blended soil product. Think bigger than the bin. The mistake that kills worm farms is overfeeding. Too much food creates odor, pests, acidity, and dead worms. Feed only what the colony can process in 2 to 3 days. Start with one sales channel, either castings or live worms, and master that before adding more products. Type worms in the comments if this one surprised you. It's the setup most people skip first. Setup number 2 is Coturnix quail. Quail are the small space profit machine of backyard livestock. They mature fast, fit into tight areas, and can generate income in places where chickens are banned or impractical. Coturnix quail start laying at 6 to 8 weeks of age. Chickens usually take 5 to 6 months before they begin laying. That difference matters because the sooner your birds produce, the sooner the setup starts paying you back. They also need far less space. 1 square foot per bird is common in small quail systems, compared with 8 square feet or more for a chicken when outdoor space is included. A shed wall, protected rack, or compact outbuilding can hold a productive quail flock without taking over the property. If you're working with tight space, that changes everything. There's also a legal edge that most people miss. In many cities and suburbs where backyard chickens are restricted or banned, quail may be treated differently because they're often classified as game birds rather than standard poultry. That can keep them possible in areas where chickens aren't. Local rules still matter, but for a lot of people, quail are the door that stays open. The income streams are strong. Eating eggs sell for $5 to $12 per dozen, depending on your market. Fertile hatching eggs sell for $6 to $15 per dozen to local growers or online buyers. Live chicks go for $3 to $5 each. Adult breeding groups, processed birds, and quail meat add more options once the operation is established. A 50-bird flock focused only on eating eggs can bring in $150 to $300 per month. Add hatching eggs and chick sales, and that same flock can reach $300 to $500. A 100-bird setup running eating eggs, hatching eggs, chicks, and meat can push $500 to over $1,000 per month when the market's built properly. Feed cost is manageable. Commercial game bird feed for 50 quail runs around $100 per month in many areas. That leaves real room for profit when the birds are sold through multiple product lines instead of only eating eggs. There's also a side product almost nobody talks about. Quail feathers, especially the speckled hen feathers, sell to fly tying crafters, jewelry makers, and artists. It's not the main income source, but it proves the point. The more uses each animal has, the stronger the setup becomes. Nothing from these birds needs to be wasted. The biggest mistake with quail is overcrowding. They're small, but they're active. Too many birds in one cage means stress, pecking, weak production, injuries, and disease pressure. Give them clean housing, enough space, high protein feed, and strong ventilation. Fast birds need tight management. Setup number 3 is honeybees. Think about this for a second. 4 square feet of ground space, about 30 minutes of attention per week, once you understand the rhythm, and up to 5 separate income streams from one backyard system. No other setup on this list does that in such a small footprint. Honeybees are one of the highest leverage backyard animal systems because a hive occupies almost no ground space while producing income from multiple directions at once. A small apiary can fit along a fence line, behind a garden, or on the edge of a property with proper placement. The time demand is reasonable once you understand the seasonal rhythm, although inspections, harvests, winter preparation, and swarm management create heavier work at certain times of year. The first stream is honey. A healthy hive produces 30 to 60 pounds per season in many regions, with stronger locations producing more. Raw local honey sells for $10 to $15 per pound at farmers' markets. 5 hives producing well can bring in $1,500 to $4,500 per year from honey alone before you touch any other product. The second stream is beeswax. Raw wax sells for $15 to $20 per pound, but value-added products are where the margins improve. Candles, lip balm, salves, wraps, and wood polish push the finished product value well above raw wax. The third stream is pollination rental. Local growers pay $100 to $200 per hive per season to bring bees onto their crop. If 3 of your 5 hives are rented out, that's $300 to $600 for work the bees do entirely on their own. The fourth stream is nucs and bee packages. Once you know what you're doing, starter colonies sell for $175 to $250 each. This isn't a beginner move, but it's one of the strongest ways an experienced beekeeper turns knowledge directly into income. The fifth stream is pollen and propolis. Bee pollen sells for $5 to $10 per pound. Propolis, the natural resin compound bees produce, can command $30 to $50 per pound in some markets because of its use in health products and supplements. A beginner with 2 hives can realistically target $80 to $200 per month averaged across the year. 5 hives moves into the $200 to $500 range. 10 or more hives with honey, wax products, nucs, pollination, and propolis can reach $500 to $1,500 per month or more. The biggest mistake is scaling before learning. Bees are seasonal, sensitive, and unforgiving when management is sloppy. Start with 2 hives, learn a full year, understand winter losses, mite pressure, nectar flow, swarm control, and local timing, then expand. Most beekeepers who quit didn't fail because bees are impossible. They failed because they expanded before they understood what the hives were telling them. The hive is small, the income stack is not. Setup number 4 is ducks. Ducks deserve a higher position than most backyard farmers give them, and that's exactly why they're here. Duck eggs are larger than chicken eggs and higher in fat and protein. Bakers seek them out because they create better texture and lift in baked goods. Free-range duck eggs sell for $12 per dozen in many markets, and in high-demand areas they climb toward $18. That puts them at $1 to $1.50 per individual egg. That's only the egg side. The garden value is just as important, and this is what most people miss. Ducks eat slugs, snail, mosquito larvae, beetles, and soft-bodied pests that damage plants. Unlike chickens, they don't scratch garden beds aggressively. They move through, eat pests, fertilize as they go, and leave established soil structure mostly intact when they're managed correctly. That makes ducks valuable for anyone running a garden, orchard, market beds, or backyard food system alongside animals. They're not just producing eggs, they're actively protecting the crops that create more income everywhere else. Khaki Campbell and Welsh Harlequins are strong egg breeds, with some birds producing over 300 eggs per year. Muscovy ducks work well for dual-purpose meat and eggs, especially where quiet birds and meat quality matters. A 12-duck flock focused on eggs can bring in $150 to $300 per month. A 25-duck flock with egg sales, pest control value, ducklings, and breeding stock can reach $300 to $800 per month, depending on the market. Duck manure also feeds compost piles or worm systems, which links directly back to setup number 1. The ducks create eggs, pest control, and fertility from the same daily routine. The mistake is treating ducks like chickens. They're not chickens with waterproof feathers. Ducks need water access for health, proper bedding management, predator protection, and housing that can handle moisture. If the setup stays wet and dirty, health problems follow fast. Build for water from the beginning, not as an afterthought. Setup number 5 is laying hens. Laying hens are familiar. That familiarity is exactly why many people running them leave real money on the table. The basic egg numbers are easy. The extra income streams are where most backyard chicken owners miss the actual opportunity. A strong heritage laying breed like a Rhode Island Red, Barred Rock, or Black Australorp produces 250 to 300 eggs per year. A flock of 25 hens produces roughly 10 dozen eggs per week. Farm fresh free-range eggs sell for $5 to $8 per dozen, while premium positioning such as pasture-raised, soy-free, organic-fed, or heritage breed eggs can push $10 to $12 per dozen in the right market. That price gap isn't just about the egg. It's about positioning, story, and buyer. At standard pricing, 25 hens bring in around $200 to $240 per month in egg revenue. Feed for that flock runs $60 to $80 per month, leaving a conservative profit of $120 to $165. At 50 hens, income doubles, while bulk feed purchasing can lower the per bird cost. The income multiplier most egg producers ignore is pullets. Pullets are young hens around 4 to 6 months old, right at laying age. Buyers pay $25 to $40 per pullet because they want eggs soon and don't want to raise chicks from scratch. Selling 10 pullets per month adds $250 to $400 on top of egg revenue from the same overall chicken operation. The second overlooked product is composted manure. Chicken manure is nitrogen-rich and valuable for gardeners when properly composted. Bagged composted manure sells for $5 to $10 per bag at local markets. You're producing it regardless. The only question is whether you capture that value or shovel it away for free. The biggest mistake is mismatching feed cost and product price. If your flock eats expensive organic feed but your eggs sell at standard prices, the margin disappears. Premium inputs require premium positioning. Standard markets require controlled input costs. The mismatch between those two is where many backyard egg operations quietly stall. Eggs are simple, margins are not. Drop a comment with how many hens you'd start with. That answer changes the whole business model. Setup number 6 is rabbits. Rabbits are one of the quietest backyard income systems, and that's literal. They don't crow, they don't bark, they don't honk. Your neighbors may never know they exist, and yet a disciplined rabbit operation generates compound income from multiple streams that many backyard farmers never consider. A single doe produces 30 to 40 kits per year. Young rabbits reach market weight of 4 to 5 pounds in 8 to 12 weeks. Rabbit meat is high in protein, low in fat, and gaining traction with health-conscious buyers, high-end restaurants, and cultural markets where rabbit's been a staple protein for generations. Processed rabbits sell for $15 to $40 per animal depending on your market, or $48 per pound. But meat is only the starting point. Rabbit manure goes directly onto garden beds without composting first. It won't burn roots, and it carries nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and sulfur. Gardeners pay $1 to $3 per pound for it in some local markets. It also feeds worm farms directly, which connects rabbits straight back to setup number 1. These two systems together create a tight, low-cost loop. Angora rabbits add wool. Angora fiber sells for $10 to $30 per ounce and can be harvested repeatedly without harming the animal. Pelts go for $5 to $20 each. Pedigree breeding stock, especially popular pet and show breeds like Holland Lops, Dutch, and Mini Rex, sells for $50 to $300 per animal depending on bloodlines and quality. A focused Angora wool operation produces $300 to $600 per month on its own when the buyer base is built. A diversified operation combining meat, manure, breeding stock, and wool is where the income compounds. The biggest mistake is breeding before you have buyers. Rabbits multiply on their own schedule. They don't wait for you to figure out the market. Restaurants, homesteaders, market customers, pet buyers, and wool buyers need to be identified before the breeding program expands. Plan the market first, then grow the herd to meet it. Setup number 7 is backyard aquaponics. Aquaponics closes this list because it combines animals and plants into one income system. Fish feed the plants. Plants clean the water. Both produce products you can sell. It's genuinely clever, and once it's running well, it becomes one of the most satisfying setups on the entire list. Tilapia are the standard backyard choice because they're hardy, fast-growing, and tolerant of a wide range of water conditions. A tilapia reaches around 1 pound in 6 to 9 months. They sell for $3 to $6 per pound. And a well-managed backyard system produces 100 to 300 pounds of fish per cycle, depending on design and stocking density. But here's the part. Most aquaponics content gets backwards. The fish aren't the biggest profit center. The plants are. Herbs, lettuce, basil, and leafy greens grown in aquaponic systems produce strong returns because they grow quickly and can be marketed as naturally fertilized, chemical-free produce. Basil is especially valuable because fresh herbs command premium pricing at restaurants, farmers markets, and with local buyers who care about how their food is grown. Build your marketing around the plants. Let the fish power the system. A single IBC tote system costs $500 to $1,200 to set up and generates $100 to $300 per month once it's stabilized. A multi-tank system reaches $300 to $800. A greenhouse aquaponic operation can push $800 to $2,000 per month or more when production and sales are consistent. As the system matures, more income lines open up. Seedlings can be sold to other growers. Tours can be offered to schools and garden clubs. Workshops can teach system building. Once you've got real results, plans, kits, and consultations become legitimate revenue on top of everything else. A basic combination of chickens plus worm farming generates $300 to $500 per month. Add bees and rabbits, and the system can climb toward $800 to $1,500. A well-run layout with all 7 systems producing together can reach $1,500 to $2,400 per month or more when you've got buyers, routines, and clean production. Don't start with all 7. That's how people get overwhelmed and quit. Start with one system, make it profitable, learn its daily rhythm, and then add the next one that solves a visible problem or uses a waste stream you're already generating. Add the next piece only when it makes the first one stronger. If you're not sure where to start, my honest answer is worm farming every time. It can launch for roughly $30 to $75. It takes the least space, a closet, a garage, under a utility sink, or a shaded outdoor bin. It needs the least daily time. It creates sellable product faster than anything else on this list, and it connects directly into almost every other system the moment you're ready to expand. Once your worm population is growing, add laying hens. Chicken manure feeds the worms. Your first closed loop is now running. From there, the next move depends on your space and your market. Quail are best for fast, compact production. Bees are best for multiple income streams with little ground space. Ducks are best when your garden needs pest control. Rabbits are best for quiet, compound income. Aquaponics is best when you want fish and plants producing together. 7 backyard animal setups. Real startup costs. Real monthly income. Real systems people are running on small properties right now. If this helped you see what your backyard can actually do, subscribe to Backyard Farm Profits, turn on notifications, and grab the free planning sheet in the description, and tell me in the comments which setup you would build first. The next video takes this same idea beyond the backyard and shows how 11 animals can turn 1 acre into a food and income system.